Welcome to Tortilla Talk. Today I have with me Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Hey,
It's been a
how
while.
are you?
Man, I'm doing great. No
Well, it's been
Dylan
a
today.
while. It's been a while on the podcast. I saw you literally 2 days ago,
Yeah, that
so it really
usually happens.
hasn't been a while. It's been
Dallas, how are you doing? It has been
I'm
a
doing
while.
great, Troy. I'm looking forward to some football.
Well, good thing because that's what we're going to talk about today. So excited. We got a few topics that we'll be covering, all focused around football. But wanted to start with football's almost back. And so wanted to get some general thoughts from y'all. What are y'all excited about with Texas Tech being back this year? Nick?
I feel like this is Thanksgiving. You're asking what we're most thankful for. I'm giving thanks because Texas Tech football is indeed back, and we are going to win the Big 12 this year. I'm just excited, man. You know, baseball season was kind of let down. Basketball season had its ups and downs. So I'm just excited to get back into football. Started off with the new Xbox NCAA game has been great. Getting me real jazzed up. Seeing I think on my Dynasty mode, Micah Hudson was like a wide receiver finalist for the whatever award. And
Blitnikoff.
so, thank you to Blitnikoff. And I think we had a couple Heisman candidates on there as well. I can't remember if it was Taj or not, but the computer's pretty high on Tech, so maybe pretty happy to see that.
We're typically pretty high on Tech too, so we must be thinking alike in those instances. Dallas, what are you excited about?
Man, I'm excited for a lot. I'm thankful for a lot, like Nick said. South end zone looks awesome. I think that's going to take the atmosphere to another level. I'm excited for the new Big 12, man. I know people are disappointed of some schools that will not be named that are leaving, that we're not playing those, but I think it's cool getting to play like the Arizona States of the world, and I think they'll make cool additions to the conference. It'll be a lot of fun beating them this year.
It sure will be. Yeah, I can't wait to get to go to some of those games and see what the new Big 12 is all about. Are we going to add any more teams, you think?
I don't know. There's been some buzz on Twitter about the old Pac-2 teams. I hope we do not add them. We'll see. But if the ACC collapses, I'm looking at you, Clemson. I'm looking at you, Florida State. You're coming, whether you like it or not.
Dallas, your memes have been firing on all cylinders too. My goodness. I think you've caused a decent amount of hype around those rumors.
Well, you know, I'm just getting the Twitter fingers fired back up for football season.
It's all about dusting off the cobwebs. So we'll continue to work on it. That's awesome, man. Is there any specific games, Nick, that you've got marked on the calendar for the Texas Tech football season?
I think for different reasons. So first game, this would have been something I would have. Well, I got to see it, but if you're a student, I think you're looking forward to the Arizona State game. Both these schools like to party a little bit, so I think that'll just be a fun game that you'll get to enjoy. I love that. I love adding them to the Big 12. I think they're just a nice fit. I think Texas Tech and Arizona State are cut from the same cloth. So I think that'll be a bunch of fun. If we're talking about games I'm excited about from a strength of schedule or a difficulty, I want to beat Utah really bad.
Well, that'd be good because it'd be in the Big 12 championship. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want. That's all I want. I just want to beat Utah. So that's all I want.
Well, it's Dallas's point. Hopefully we make it to the Big 12 championship.
that was a bold take there. The game you're looking forward to most is the team we doesn't play the Big 12 championship.
Listen, he's looking forward to the Big 12 championship because that's how confident he is.
He already bought his tickets. It's penciled in.
Time out. Are you guys not assuming that's going to be the Big 12 championship game?
I don't think
when I asked the question, I thought I was talking about the schedule that existed, and that doesn't exist yet. But to your point, I'll pencil it in now.
Yeah, I was talking about the Big 12 championship game, but all right. I don't want to say Colorado. I don't want to give them that hype.
It sounds
that'll
like
be
you're
a
going to
funny
say
game.
Colorado.
I know.
Dallas, what are you looking forward to? Which game?
So I'm gonna give you a 2-for-1. All right.
Oh,
I'm gonna
goodness.
give you a home game and an away game.
Okay.
The away
And
game,
Utah.
yeah.
Utah
the away
and
game
Utah.
at Washington State. I want to pummel Washington State into the ground and exercise some demons from the way we started last season on the road. I think if we beat them like by 20, 30 points, there's going to be a lot of hype around Tech. Then we've got a long home stretch after that. Home game, I think probably Baylor, beating them again. Send Aranda, on his merry way after they start having a rough year like they did last year. It was pretty satisfying to beat them by like 28 or whatever we did last time. I can't give Colorado that credit, although it's probably going to be a night game. And if both teams are good, it could be game day because they give all the game days to Dion. So that could be fun. But
just all the game days?
Well, he got 4 last year.
Just every single game. Hey, let's see. Maybe that would be, we'll have to make a trip if that's the case.
Well, I think we already are.
We're making a trip either, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. We'll be there.
Yeah, announcement. We're going to Colorado game.
We're on to Colorado. That's right. Well, I'll say a couple that probably aren't on everybody's list. So I got 2 marked on my calendar besides the Colorado game.
And the Utah game.
What's that?
And the Utah game.
Besides the Utah game, I'll start with this one that nobody's saying. It's against UNT, the Fighting Chucks. My father-in-law went there, so we're gonna have to go ahead and beat them. That way, I don't have to hear any negative talk. But we should be able to handle that one. And then the next one on our way to the championship game against Utah would be the Oklahoma State game. I know it's an away game, but if both teams are fighting for one of those spots, that game will be an absolute electric factory. So that'd be one that I'd be really curious and has potential to be a night game as well. But
I agree with you, Troy. The Oklahoma State game, in my personal opinion, I hope that us and Oklahoma State kind of take over the Big 12. That's just kind of what I would like to see happen. So I would love for that game to matter.
I think that's the best for the Big 12, just in general. Tech and Oklahoma State are 2 of the bigger state schools in the conference, close geographically. If that game means something every year, I think that'll be a big deal for the Big 12.
Yeah. And you want to talk about similarities, I say, because Arizona State and us like to party. But, Oklahoma State steals all of our traditions. So they're exactly like us.
That's what it looks to be. So that's what I'm excited for in the games I'm looking forward to. But with that, obviously there's some key additions to the team. So I wanted to move over to the transfer portal and talk about some of those guys. And obviously, we know all the people that we've added on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to have a little bit newer look in that on the receiver area. But wanted to talk about some of y'all's favorite additions. And Nick, I'll hand it off to you to kind of kick it off with that.
I like Conyers, the tight end. He just brings a lot of different things now that we can do. Having such a great addition just from an athlete standpoint is going to be pretty exciting. He ran a lot of Wildcat, I think, last year, so going to see some explosiveness. It's pretty exciting. And then the wide receivers that we added, I'm pretty pumped up about. Just having that big playability. Not that we didn't have it last year, but we've added some big names. And not to mention, I know we said transfer portal, but also Micah, having 3 to 5 wide receiver weapons is going to be pretty big for us. So that's what I'm most excited to see is wide receivers and tight ends, baby.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's pretty much a new core, and All of them were pretty successful at their last stops, and so super excited for that. Dallas, what are you excited for?
I'm going to give you another twofer, a two for Troy.
Oh, goodness.
So, obviously the wide receivers get a bunch of hype around them, even though Big Game Boomer thinks that that's our biggest liability. But I won't go into that too much. Out of that group of the transfers, obviously it's Josh Kelly. He's going to be probably the number one wide receiver to start the year. Hopefully is that guy the whole year and can do something similar he did last year at Washington State, getting close to 1,000 yards. Y'all talked about the big playability. He averaged 15 yards a catch last year, so that's much more explosive than we've been used to the last few years. Barron stays healthy. I think he's going to love having him as a downfield target. And then not so much under the radar because it was a big get when it happened, but one of your more important transfers I think is going to be Vinny Scurry at left guard. I think PFF graded him out as a top 10 pass protector last year in the country. He came from Toledo, I believe. And I think with Sterling Porcher out on the end, kind of an unknown, and Sheridan Wilson looking like he's going to be at center, I think him being able to help out both those spots could be huge. And we've heard about it all season. If we can keep Barron healthy, we could have a pretty special year.
Yeah, I like that you touched on that. I mean, obviously he was in and out of the lineup last year, and bringing in some new pieces for that offensive line is going to be really big for us, and especially some of the size that we brought in. So I love that call out. I'll touch on one player specifically. I know we had a couple of people leave the defensive side of the ball, and so with Carroll joining the defense, I'm hoping that he can fill a pretty big void that we have. Not void, but obviously a departure with the mayor leaving the previous year. So we'll see what steps he takes and see he's got some pretty big shoes to fill. But Dallas, do you have any sleepers that you have an eye on?
Yeah, so I think some guys to watch for. Caleb Douglas, he was going to be the other starter. He came from Florida, and it sounds like so far that he's been lighting it up, not only in the spring game, but in fall camp so far as well. Didn't have like a ton of stats there, but also just kind of couldn't get healthy and stay on the field for an extended period of time. He's going to be a real weapon, and it'll be interesting to see how him, Kelly, and Hudson all mesh on the field. You've also got a guy, currently our third string tight end, who I think is going to make more of an impact than people think, John Carlos Miller. He's like lightning fast, about 240, and like a true receiving tight end that can make some guys miss and has some true speed at that position.
Yeah, I'm excited for. I know you touched on Douglas. I didn't realize how big that guy was either. He's 6'4". They have him listed at 205, and I was like, holy smokes, we got the next Julio Jones potentially. So, he can. Hey, big steps. We're gonna make it to that championship game. So we're gonna need these guys to take those steps. Nick, anybody that you have your eyes on that maybe some people don't?
Yeah, well, some people might have their eye on. I like Coy Aiken, man. I think he's gonna be a big player for us this year. He's taken another step forward. Him and Barron have that connection. From what I'm hearing, they've known each other for a while now. Another year in the offense. I just think he's going to take a big step forward. And we've got all these great receivers. I think, how do you guard them all? And I think he might be the benefactor of some of that. So just look out for him this year.
Yeah, it's a great call out. Wasn't he one of the ones that was in the Heisman race in the NC25 game that Jose posted?
Look, here's what I'm going to tell you. I've seen plenty of guys in the Heisman race, okay? It's going to be special. And let me make sure we clarify something. We didn't start off with Texas Tech. First off, we respect Joey too much, Coach McGuire, okay? Secondly, if we're ever going to take over that Tech job, we got to earn it. So we started off in the Maction. So all these things we're saying, how these Tech players are all in the Bolitnikov and the Heisman watch. These are just fellas just busting their tails, working hard.
Yeah, they're just playing ball, huh? I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Well,
all you can ask.
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they're going to lose to a quarterback from Bowling Green. But hey, I'm putting up points, baby.
There you go. Congrats. I'm happy for you and can't wait to hear what your next job will be.
Thank you.
Dallas, where are you at now? So Nick's at Bowling Green. Where do you have?
No. Let me clarify something. Online dynasty, I'm still in Bowling Green. My personal dynasty, I went to Iowa State. They offered me a head coaching job.
Oh wow.
I had to take it.
Contentious.
No, I make sure I lose the Tech game.
Oh, that's good.
No,
That's
Troy,
awesome.
we've got dynasties galore. You'll have to specify which one it is.
Oh man, I still need to buy a new Xbox apparently, so you'll need to specify which one it is.
You're missing out, man. Dallas is Buffalo. He's in the MAC championship. Congratulations, Dallas.
Thank you.
Wow, Dallas,
Yeah.
that's huge. Congrats to you.
Big
I went 10-2. I missed the MAC championship though. I had to turn some things around.
Well, it sounds like you did. So,
I did. I knocked Dylan out of the playoffs.
Wow. Well, we'll let him talk on the pod next week about it.
He's not happy.
He's not happy about it. Awesome. Well, I wanted to get to one more topic, and we're talking about the preseason. So I wanted to get to some of the predictions that we've seen. I wanted to touch on what we saw in the coaches poll and then where Vegas has us. And so coaches picked to finish 9th. So I want to get y'all's input there. And from what I could see from the odds in Vegas, it looks around 6, 7, 8. And so, Nick, wanted to start with you. Let me shake my head. What are your thoughts with those places?
What are my thoughts, dude? First off, I guess when they were voting, this must have been at a happy hour somewhere because those coaches are drunk off their ass. They're thinking we're going to finish 9th. Ridiculous.
Well, we know Mike Gundy is.
Go ahead.
I said we know Mike Gundy's drunk off his ass.
Yeah, 1,000 times. Thousands of times. Here's what look, man, 9th, a bunch of clowns, dude. That's, you know what that is? That's our new friends from the Pac-12 coming in trying to just talk that smack. Ridiculous. And then as far as Vegas, I would hammer us beating those coming in better than 6th. I don't see a way where we don't come top 3, and we're going to obviously win. We could win every game on our schedule this year. You keep bearing upright, we're not losing. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not going to tell you wrong.
Yeah, I didn't think so. No one is.
Big 12 championship, so I didn't expect us to be losing a game.
Yeah, we're not going to. I just truly, you keep bearing healthy. I don't see us losing a game. Dallas?
I think that's a fair call.
Yeah, I know it's totally disrespectful. I thought it was so disrespectful that I put out a tweet that hopefully I don't regret, but that I would cut off my ear if we finished 9th or lower. I intend to keep that promise because it's not happening.
I don't know, Dallas.
Dallas, is it specific to 9th? If we finish below 9th, does it still count?
He just said 9th or below.
At least 8th.
Oh, 9th or below. Okay.
I mean, look, the beginning of the schedule is extremely favorable. We're going to start 5-0 going into Arizona, and the hype train is going to be out of control. We're going to be drunk on Kool-Aid. All
and
those
whiskey.
things. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not afraid of anybody on the schedule. I don't think Oklahoma State is, what everybody pretends that they are with Alan Bowman at quarterback. This is the most talented Tech team in over a decade by far at every position. I know there are some question marks on the offensive line and on the defense, but this is the deepest team. We've heard everyone talk about that, so I'm not even worried about injuries. As long as Baron Morton is healthy, I don't see how we can lose more than 3 games. I'll just say that.
Yeah, if you only lose 3 games, you're definitely not finished ninth. So I think that's a fair thought process there. Now, I believe the win total is 7.5. So from both of what I'm hearing, you're both taking the over on that, correct?
If we go under, we might unalive ourselves. That's going to be tough to swallow.
Well, you're definitely going to unear yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to be missing at least an ear.
Oh,
Have
man,
you thought about which one?
CBS.
You know what I could do? I could hedge it and bet a ton of money on the under to reconstruct my ear after I cut it off.
Have you thought about which one, Dallas?
Just throw it on some ice.
I don't know. I need to talk to Lucas about which one he thinks is better to have.
Well,
That's right.
He's going to be partial. He's only had one his entire life.
Yeah, that's sorry, Lucas, if you're watching, our one-eared buddy.
Yeah. Well, so here's a little tidbit. So CBS is telling people to pick the under at 7.5. So if that makes y'all feel, if it gives you motivation, CBS, the entire company, whoever wrote this article.
That sounds like some fake news, but I don't trust your sources.
I'm looking at you, Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah, they have us losing to Arizona,
TCU.
Arizona, TCU, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, West Virginia. So we're not going to win any of our big games, basically.
Yeah,
so
I mean, going to Arizona will be a tough game. Baylor at home is a win. TCU on the road, that's Lubbock East. That's a win. They went 5-7. I'm not sold on Josh Hoover.
Dude, TCU, you know what? 2 years ago, people are still on that. Just stop it. Just stop it. Continue. Well, not you. You can keep going.
All right,
we'll go ahead and hammer the over then. So that's that analysis. What team in the Big 12?
Ain't no analysis, Troy. It's just how it's going to be.
It's just straight facts. My apologies. They already paid me out, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They already paid it out.
Vegas is very confused about what's happening right now.
Yeah, they're like, well, I don't know why we even had this as the number. So who do y'all think is going to be the biggest letdown in the Big 12 this year? Nick?
Utah.
Even though they're going to go to the Big 12 championship?
No, I think, again, good question. So you got it. Are we talking about hype train? Because if it's hype train, it's going to be Colorado.
Is there that much hype around Colorado? Like, actually?
Okay, again, I hate to use all my information based off of NCAA Football 2025. But, yeah, those guys had lost like 3 games, and they were still ranked top 15. No, I just think everyone's hyped around them. I think Colorado is going to lose a lot of games. And then who else do I think? It sounds like I think TCU or West Virginia. You're telling me you got TCU, West Virginia at 4-5 or 3-4? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, TCU has the same win total, 7.5 as us. And West Virginia is at 6.5. So I guess they have
West Virginia's a tough schedule. They got to go to Penn State, I think.
Yeah, they do.
So
yeah.
I would maybe Arizona. You know what? All seriousness, probably Arizona. Regular, just Arizona. Because they had a lot of departures. They had a lot of departures, right?
They had a lot of departures. They lost their coach.
Yeah. I think Arizona. I think people are still hyped up on them. But if we remember, weren't they really bad like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
So they had a great season. That's awesome. But I think they'll have a TCU like regression.
Yeah, I think that's, could definitely happen. Dallas, who do you have your eyes on?
So I think was the team that everyone seems to be the highest on, which is Kansas State.
Reliable.
Huh?
Old reliable.
I just do not see. They have an easy schedule, so they might do well in the conference, just beating up on the bottom tier teams. But I don't think that they are going to be as good as they were last year. Uh, I I know everyone loves Avery Johnson, thinks that he's going to be like the next great quarterback in the conference, but can he throw the ball? Because he was not asked to at all last year. He averaged like 60 yards passing a game when he was playing consistent minutes.
Yeah, weird
I'm
enough,
just
but
not
he
sold on
averaged
him.
60 yards a carry too.
Well, yeah, against some tough run defenses, and they're also losing probably their best offensive lineman that's ever played at their program. So I'm just curious of how that's going to hold up if they don't have the huge run lanes to run quarterback draw or quarterback power through. How they're going to do, and I don't see any wide receiver weapons that would concern me if I have any athletes on the outside. So I think Kansas State is one, and then yeah, you already said West Virginia. Neil Brown was like considered a dead man walking before last year, and then pulled a rabbit out of his hat. Beat Tech only because Tyler Shuck's leg exploded, and then Baron Morton proceeded to explode his shoulder like immediately after. So yeah, those are the two teams that I think could regress.
Is Klein still coaching at Kansas State? Is he still one of the coaches there?
So yeah,
That's
they lost
a big
their
deal.
offensive coordinator and their best offensive lineman, wide receiver, running back. Like I think people are assuming that Avery Johnson was the reason that they did so well last year, and I'm not convinced.
Yeah, crazy that a guy can have a full basketball career and then make it as a quarterback.
You retired, huh? Retired and went to college football. And did some announcing as well.
I nailed it.
Yeah, good for you. Man.
Some announcing, some coaching. He's
done
had quite
a lot, man. He guy's had a full. Hey, he's had a heck of a life. He's had a full life. The only thing, Dallas, I'll say about Kansas State is just every year, it's Kansas State. They're right there. And the only thing that ever
because if you remember right before Tech fired Matt Wells, everyone said the loser of Kansas State versus Texas Tech was going to get fired, and Chris Kleiman was on the hot seat at the time, and it took some Matt Wells horrible mismanagement, a third and like 25, and there was a penalty for hands to the face to extend their drive to go win that game. He was a second away from getting fired. They bring in Klein, who reshapes the offense. They improve. Now he's left. Just go back.
When was the last time we beat them?
It's been like a decade. It's been a while.
Okay.
They're not on the schedule, though, so if that makes you feel better.
So it's going to be one more year.
Yeah.
Unless we play him in the championship.
Which we're playing Utah.
Nick has Utah. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah, I was going to say that the same CBS source is telling us to pick the over. So they say that they're going to win 10 games this year. So Dallas,
Kansas State?
Yeah.
It's
the
fake
over's
news.
at 9.5.
Wrong.
No,
that's a lot of wins. That's a lot of wins.
That's right, Dallas. So I'm listening to you. I'm on your
train.
I might
take I might take the under in that. It's a lot of wins.
Yeah. And then I would tag on with Nick, probably with Arizona. I could really see how that one could fall off the wagon if it keeps going that way. And then I would also look, not that Baylor has a lot of hype, but they're either going to show out for their guy or not show out. So we'll see. Somebody else is on the hot seat.
Those are the two options.
Yeah. You're gone or you're not. So
it's going to be
how
ugly
it goes, right?
if Baylor fails to meet expectations, because I think they're picked second to last.
That's fair.
They came in dead last.
So we will see. Well, any final thoughts for the Texas Tech season? Again, over the next few weeks, we'll continue to put out some podcasts and talk about it. But Nick, any final thoughts?
No, I'm excited for the season. I'm ready. Just can't wait, man. Every year we get excited about it, but I will say this seems like the best team we've had in a while, and just so many offensive weapons. The recruiting has been great. This is going to be the first year where it feels like Coach McGuire's recruits are old enough and really going to make an impact. So I'm just excited. I'm ready to see it. Ready to take that next step.
Yeah, it couldn't be more spot on. Super excited to see what the guys do this
Thank
year
you.
and with the transfers and then the guys that he's brought in. Dallas, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, man, I think the most exciting part of this season is that if you can have a great one and contend for a Big 12 championship, it kind of sets you up to be one of the premier teams in the conference. There's not a brand that I think could outshine Tech if we are at our peak. Just the number of fans we have, the amount of money that we have flowing into the program, the hype train that is Joey McGuire. I think we could be, top dog if we can execute and win a bunch of games this year. Have a ton of momentum going into the next season, which would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. And honestly, an excellent way to end this podcast. It's like the new beginnings chapter, right? New stadium, new conference. Let's be the new Texas Tech that we keep talking about. So,
Dallas is already on the next season.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Nick, we already won the Big 12 championship. So Vegas cashed out the wins total. I mean, I don't know why we're even talking about this upcoming season, honestly.
No,
this was a 2025 preview. We've already won.
Yeah. We won 2024. Newsflash, defending champs.
Yeah, that's right. Well, awesome, guys. Well, it's good to get the band back together. Nick, I know I've seen you a couple times over the last 2 weeks, but it's good to talk and talk football.
Like 1 week. You work on the floor below me. We have lunch.
Yeah,
together.
now we work in the same building, so we honestly see each other every day. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I love that. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Go ahead and give us a follow at TechNTortillas on all socials. We'll be back next week. Wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em, baby.